Chelsea are poised to make another offer and bid for Erling Haaland. The sum of £130 million is being worked on and has been given the green light by Roman Abramovich to be submitted, of course, in their pursuit for the goal-scoring machine, the striker that is Erling Haaland. The report from the Football Insider has claimed that this will be the highest Abramovich is willing to go. Now, this flies in the face of the news from a couple of weeks ago that they're prepared to go up to £150 million. Is this Chelsea trying to drive down the price? Is this the limit that Chelsea are going to go to in this deal? We're going to delve into that and much more. We're going to look at Arsenal's attempt to sign Tammy Abraham and the one big stumbling block in their way right now. West Ham have reportedly received some damning and concerning news in relation to keeping hold of Declan Rice. I want to have a bit of a conversation and a debate with you this evening. So far, who's having the best summer transfer window? What teams look the most promising as we go into the final 3 weeks between the start of the season? Does your club need to do more? Are you feeling confident with your activities as it stands right now? Get your comments in. Make sure you're subscribed right now and you turn on that bell notification button. Smash the like button as well. We're taking your calls. We're going and reviewing your comments. Let's jump into it right now. Here we go. Good evening. Welcome back to the terrace. I hope you're all having wonderful Fridays. You've had great evenings so far. We're here to talk, first of all, with the breaking news today. We were going to go with this story this afternoon, but of course, the Jadon Sancho announcement took precedent on this. Chelsea putting together a brand new £130 million bid for Erling Haaland. We know they've made a couple of offers already, whether informal or not, with cash plus players that have been pushed back by Borussia Dortmund. It doesn't appear they want to do that type of business as of now. But here is what the Football Insider had to say earlier on today. They've said that Chelsea is submitting a £130 million bid for Erling Haaland after the green light was given by Roman Abramovich. It says the Football Insider can exclusively reveal the Champions League holders have discussed multiple player plus cash options with Borussia Dortmund as they continue to plan to lure the 21-year-old. A Chelsea source has told the Football Insider that the club have now lined up a straight cash offer of £130 million. That is to be the highest Roman Abramovich is willing to go for what would be a British transfer record. The mega-rich owner has vowed to bankroll a mega-money centre-forward move as he looks to build on last year's Champions League triumph. The club are working on deals for Haaland, Kane, and Lukaku. They hope to get at least one of them over the finish line this summer. Now, this for me is an interesting piece of news to come out this evening. When I go back to what I was told by a couple of agents a few weeks ago, they believed it would have been a £130 million offer base with £20 million worth of add-ons. Maybe there is still the cycle here. This kind of fits in with what's being said here as well. It was always meant to be 130 base with the potential of £20 million worth of add-ons. Maybe that's something that Chelsea will put into this deal. Maybe there'll be very difficult bonuses to achieve. Champions League winning success, record-breaking goal-scoring seasons. Nobody quite knows exactly what goes into these bonuses. But it does appear now that Chelsea are eyeing up and putting this bid together. It doesn't strike me as strange. It's come out around about 7:30 this morning. I do believe a few people have said to me on Twitter that Carefree Youth, a very credible Chelsea source in the Chelsea football community, has confirmed this to be true. And in terms of the Football Insider, there are people that I actually I've just started conversations with. They're looking to do some kind of partnership with the Football Terrace. So in terms of their credibility, more will be revealed later on down the line. But I want to pose this question now to Chelsea fans. Do you believe this will be as high as you'll go? £130 million. Do you believe this is as high as you're going to go? I want your thoughts and your feelings on this deal. We're also going to take a look a little bit later at Tammy Abraham to Arsenal, what's happening surrounding that, the stumbling block that's in Arsenal's way. Also, Declan Rice, of course, linked heavily to Chelsea, Man United and Liverpool this summer. What's going on there? What news of West Ham United received that's reported to be a bit of a blow for them in relation to him? But I also want to take calls from you tonight. I want to understand who you think's having a very good start to this summer transfer window. The window's open for many more weeks, but it's only 3 weeks until the season begins. 3 weeks until Arsenal, Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool, Spurs, Man City, Leicester City, the top 6+1, go at it again. The Premier League season starts and everybody is fighting for their, for their top 4 place, their Champions League position, for titles, for supremacy, for bantering rights, for bragging rights, to be the top dog in England. Which of the teams has started this summer well? Who has made the best inroads so far this summer? Are you proud of what your club's done and you're happy with the direction you're going in? Are you concerned? Are you worried? I want your thoughts and I want your feelings about your club's summer transfer activity so far, your rivals, what they're up to as well. We want to hear from you on that. Thank you, by the way, to the Devil's Advocate for becoming a member of the Football Terrace again. Long time no see, my friend. I hope you're well. I hope you're doing good. I know you've had a lot going on. Thank you very, very much for signing up indeed. Let's do some of your live comments here. I know a lot of people are talking about the Haaland bid. What's up, Terry? Do you think Dortmund will accept the offer of 130 million? I don't know. I really don't know. I think my mind's at this point. I think Chelsea will stretch to 150, but with add-ons. That's what I was told, and I stand by that news. I've always felt 130 million was going to be the base, the guaranteed money that could line the pockets of Borussia Dortmund. That's the guaranteed sum, 130. It's now being spoken about as going out. The Football Terrace revealed this to you 2 weeks ago now. We stand by it. The Football Insider's reporting on it. Carefree Youth is reporting on it. A number of Chelsea fans that I've spoken to today privately have commented on it. I also sat back on the news because somebody gave it to me a lot earlier on in the day, and I said I would wait for them to do their video and their story on it before I spoke. I think the respectful thing to do. So I think it could be accepted. Legitimately, I think it could be done. But we have to weigh up some other things here. Arsenal coming in for Tammy. So no strikers being left at the club. That will make Chelsea even more desperate to get it done. The situation with Man City and, of course, their pursuit of Harry Kane. Man City and Kane. If that's looking like it's going to get the green light and go ahead, more desperation needed from Chelsea. And we're going to talk on who's having the best summers a little bit later on in the stream. But the point is, if City sign a top striker and grealish, Man United bring in Raphael, Varane and Sancho and maybe Trippier. Spurs are doing a good bit of business now. Although they might lose Harry Kane, if they reinvest that money and bring in a good goal scorer in Danny Ings, they bring in the likes of mancheste in the middle. They've already signed a top class centre back, a new goalie's on his way in. A lot of pressure is going to mount on Chelsea to improve that squad. Can they go through a whole season again without a prolific goal scorer? I don't know. And losing Olivier Giroud, who just as an example, was so pivotal in them getting out of the group stages of the Champions League. So it's going to be very, very interesting indeed to see how that transpires. We have our first super chat of the night here. It's from my legend of the show, Leng and Sweet. He says, any Jack Grealish or Kane updates? Nothing new from last night, my friend. Nothing new has changed from last night in any way, in any shape, or in any form. It's very much as you are. City know what they need to get or been told what what they need to get these deals done. You were going to see the same approach from City to Villa and to Tottenham, where they're going to lowball and try and work their way up. The news that came out from the Sun yesterday, City debunked it straight away. And of course, City were going to do that. City can't have Aston Villa realize they've got £160 million to spend on Kane because suddenly the price of Jack Grealish goes up. Sensible business. But the deals are on. The deals are in process. They are hard deals because of the size of the transfer fee and the wages. Balancing the books needs to happen. So there's a lot to consider. There's a lot to go on before those deals will go through. But they're certainly being worked on, my friend. They're not dead. They're not out the window or anything like that at all. Let's take a look here. Another super chat. Man like the devil's advocate is back. He says, Terry, hope you're well, mate. Wrong video, but buzzing about Jaden. You'll see an extra bias from me towards him due to the shared Trinidadian heritage. Well, there you go, my brother. And there's nothing wrong with a bit of bias. I think as long as you're admitting that you've got a bit of bias, and I think that's the most important thing there. But listen, it's great to have you back watching the shows again, mate. After a break that you've taken, great to have you back. Much respect to you. By the way, what we're also going to be doing here, remember, for the whole of this month, all the super chats over £5, $5, $5 Canadian dollars in valuation, you go into the prize draw at the end of July to win a football shirt of your choice. But live on the show tonight, all the names from June already in the hat to go. All of them, all the super chats over the £5 mark and all the new sign-up members, they're in the hat. So we're going to be drawing the winner tonight live on the Football Terrace. So please make sure you stay tuned with us. That's coming up right near the end of the show. So we will be picking a lucky winner tonight. If you want to get your name in the hat for July, get your super chats in now. How reliable is that 160 million Kane for Kane? I would say 20% of the story is truthful at this point. I think Kane is happy with the 100 to 400 grand a week they've offered him. I even think that's the kind of pricing that Spurs may have set. I also think City might have privately said, I think we can stretch to that if FFP goes our way. However, I don't think it's close. I think there's a lot of work to do. The structure of that deal is going to be a nightmare. Look how long it took to get the structure of 73 million. Look how long it's taking Man United to get the structure of 50 million put together. And those are in sync with normal timings. It's going to be a long way away yet, my friend. Long way away yet, my friend, from being complete. Terry, why Sancho not announced or changed profiles? He's on holiday. Let him be. Let him relax. I've seen people kicking off about people's profiles today and who shares what news. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, my friend. Artem here says, Terry, do you think once the bid goes in, Raiola and Haaland's dad will push for the move, considering how much more commission they will get this year? I think if it's a bid that's on point, if it's on point, they don't have to push. If it's a bid that's close to the mark, one that's nearly enough, nearly there, then I think you'll see them push. The same as with City and Kane. Say they want 160 mil to do it, and 125, 130 comes in, I think you'll see that push from the Kane camp to do it. If only 100 million comes in, you're only 2/3 of the way there, or less than 2/3 of the way there. It's not probably close enough for the player to start pushing. But I think Haaland will want the move. I think Raiola will want the move. They know that being at Chelsea Football Club raises the profile of Haaland 100%. The Premier League gets seen by tens of millions of more. No, I'm lying. The Premier League gets seen at a weekend by, I think, over 100 million more people globally each week. Facts. Look at the money and the income that we have, the amount of countries that we sell our football rights to compared to the Bundesliga, and then the viewing figures. Legit. The Premier League destroys it from a European and a global audience. They want that exposure. They love that kind of exposure. That's the type of player that he is. He wants a legacy in this game. How do you create a legacy? By scoring goals, winning titles in front of the biggest audiences possible. Facts. Let's do some more of these comments here. We had a lovely super chat here from my guy, my brother Tahir. Says, hi, Terry. I'm sitting in McDonald's car park in Milwaukee, USA, watching my favorite YouTube channel. My guy, listen, enjoy that Mackie D's, brother. Enjoy that Mackie D. What are you having, by the way, in the Macs? I haven't had a McDonald's in a while, and it's not great food, but it's amazing food at the same time. Legit. Like, if I've had a drink or two, nothing better than a large Big Mac meal, 3 double cheeseburger chasers, a milkshake, and a Diet Coke to refresh myself with. Boom. No wonder I put so much weight on when I used to drink. But big up yourself, and thank you for that super chat, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's go for a few more of these comments here. Is this information informal or official bid? Because Chelsea will only put in a bid when they know Dortmund will accept it. That is a great question. That's a great question. My view is it will be informal, but it depends on how you weigh these things up. Most people, when it comes to these deals, just take it. I look at them all as just being an offer. They're all just an offer in one way, shape, or form. So I wouldn't get worried about the semantics, and I'd be more excited about the fact that my club are going in with a third approach. Let's just call it an approach to keep everybody happy. This is the third approach that Chelsea will be making this summer. We told you a few days ago another one would be coming. This seems to be getting now towards the upper limit. Chelsea looking like they want to try and get this deal done before the start of the season, especially with Tammy knocking on the door to leave as well. We're going to give the update on Tammy now as well, but make sure that like button has been smashed. Nearly 1,500 people watching us live on a Friday night, which is amazing. But smash the like button, please, people. If you're new to the terrace, get it done. Subscribe to the terrace as well. Prize draw coming a little bit later on as well. Prize draw coming a little bit later on the terrace. So get yourselves involved with that. Also, so let's talk about the Tammy Abraham news here. So Arsenal want Tammy Abraham. I spoke to a couple of journalists today. I spoke with an agent today about this deal, and they've said it's legit. They're pushing for it. They want it. They want Tammy Abraham. This is now someone they are focusing on heavily, and they want to bring into the club. They are looking to do a loan, first of all, with an option, with an obligation to buy of around £40 million. There is still a chance they may buy the player this summer. The one obstacle that's in Arsenal's way at this moment in time is they cannot find a buyer. They cannot find a purchaser for that of Lacazette. And they want to remove Lacazette and his wages from the bill to balance some of these books to counteract the player coming in. Tammy Abraham is going to demand a fairly sizable wage to come in. Why would you not? Your Arsenal Football Club want you. You know, Arsenal Football Club are selling themselves as we're on the resurgence, we're on the way back. We're the second or third biggest club fan base-wise in the country. You know, they may be at the bottom echelon of the top six right now, but global fan base is one of the biggest in the world. You've got to pay the compensation for players that are going to come and get you back to your sporting potential as well as your financial one. But finding a buyer for Lacazette is the problem right now. This is actually working quite well for Chelsea because Chelsea know that there's options to get rid of him. It also brings it to later on in the window where it was expected that West Ham United may come in. Maybe a bit of a bidding war between Arsenal and West Ham will ensue. This is music to Chelsea's ears. The more money they can raise for Tammy Abraham, the better. But Arsenal Football Club are 100% in. 100% in for Tammy Abraham at this moment in time. It's a deal that maybe a few weeks ago they were umming and ahhing over. But Tammy Abraham has given them the green light and said he would like to go and play for Arsenal. West Ham was his first choice because he didn't want to leave London. He didn't want to leave London, the surroundings, the setting, the culture, the lifestyle. Now that Arsenal have come in, that is a step up from West Ham with all due respect to the Hammers. Arsenal are now looking at him and saying, you could do bits for us. But look, keep your eye out for the Lacazette deal. Keep your eye out for the Lacazette deal and what's going to happen with that. But of course, Tammy also feeds into the situation with Haaland. Maybe we're going to see the Tammy situation wait to be resolved before this £130 million bid goes in. The one thing the Football Insider didn't give us about the Haaland bid is when exactly it's going in. And it's hard to know exactly when it's going in. But I think these two situations may be related. A lot of people asking here, is it an official bid or a media bid? It's an official approach. It's an official approach. Whether you want to call it a bid or not is completely up to you. I'm actually at a point where I almost don't care anymore. Legit. Sometimes I sit there and I'm like, do you know what, bruv? I can't even... It's all the same stuff, really. It's just clubs trying to protect themselves from looking like they got rejected or their fans going, we didn't do good enough work. For me, it just is what it is. We're going to share the link now for you to come on. To come on and have your say. Remember what I said a little bit earlier on in the show. We want to talk about these deals that we're discussing, but also want to know who you think, what team has had the best window so far, what more your club needs to do, who's scaring you maybe with their transfer activity so far, you know, who's impressing you, who's making you think they could be contenders, legitimate contenders next year as we move forward. I want your thoughts and I want your feelings on that right about now. RDF Tactics is best thing. If it's a loan, we would only pay for what he earns at Chelsea until the loan is permanent. But yeah, a contract should be agreed beforehand. And that's very true. I mean, he might, when he signs for you, be on 150 grand a week. I'm not too sure what he earns now at Chelsea. I'm sure it's not as high as that. So in the shorter term, it could be a little bit cheaper. Does depend, though, whether or not you've got to pay a loan fee to Chelsea. So you might end up, maybe you don't. Maybe it's maybe you pay a £5 million loan fee and £35 million obligation to buy. You work it out. The loan deal, with an obligation to buy, there's no risk for the player or the club. It just means, again, you can spread the cost of the player over a longer period of time. KSI got number one. Fair play to him. But I didn't think number ones were announced until Sundays. But maybe he's on there on the Friday. Normally, if they're number one on Friday, they're number one by the Sunday. But yeah, well, fair play to K. I mean, I haven't listened to it or anything. But fair play. Fair play to the man. Fair play to the man there. Going to talk Declan Rice for a few moments as well. So an article I was reading this afternoon here says Chelsea may get the perfect opportunity to land Declan Rice this summer for a much cheaper price than previously expected. And this news is being pushed out again. We brought you news yesterday. We brought you news yesterday on the Football Terrace after conversations we held that actually £60 million could be a price that would start to get West Ham heads turning. Of course, every credible West Ham outlet, of course, every single West Ham tier one journalist is going to push back on this and say, no, it's going to be much higher. But according to Matt Law from The Telegraph, this deal could be done for a lot less than 100 million. And he confirmed exactly what we told you yesterday on the Football Terrace. And I read this article was published today that I read about 4 hours ago here. He said £60 million. His words were West Ham would have to have a serious think about any bid that came in over £60 million because of the situation. Rice has been valued at more than £100 million for the last year or so. And despite the report from Law, Hugh and Claret say West Ham's stance has not changed and that the midfielder is not for sale at any price this summer. Everyone says no, the player isn't for price. Isn't for sale at any price at any summer. Stick £60 million in front of them and say, smell the money. You know, I'm going to quote Cuba Gooding Jr. here from the film Jerry Maguire. Show me the money. When that money's in front of you, people do madnesses, bruv. People do madnesses. People do madnesses. So Declan Rice to Chelsea is certainly circling forward. You got the situation with Tammy Abraham, Arsenal wanting desperately clearing up the room. That could be an extra £40 million in your coffers. Remember, you're not going to pay £130 million up front for Haaland. It's going to be spread over the length of his contract, right? So £40 million of it is going to be covered. £40 million of it is going to be covered by the income generated by the sale of Tammy Abraham, plus a lot of these other individuals that are on their way out. You're going to get Haaland. You're raising the money for it. According to the Football Insider, so you're going to bid for Haaland. You're not definitely going to get him. £130 million bid incoming. As we told you 2 or 3 weeks ago, now confirmed by the Football Insider. Also confirmed, I believe, by Carefree Youth as well. Tahir Khan here says, why do you think City are not in for Haaland? He is much younger than Kane. I think City don't need to worry about future-proofing. And to a degree, Chelsea don't. I think Chelsea, if Chelsea weren't Chelsea and Spurs weren't Spurs, it's in their rivalry, I think Chelsea would also go for Kane. These clubs don't need to worry so much about sell-on value. I think Kane is looked at for the next 3 or 4 years as a shoo-in. There is still a risk with Haaland that he just doesn't do it in the Premier League, right? There is still that risk. I think Harry Kane is seen as a surer bet. Pep Guardiola, is he going to be here in 3 or 4 years' time? No. Did he care about what Haaland's doing in 3 or 4 years' time? Probably not. In the here and now, best striker in the Prem. Number one, maybe just behind Lewandowski, some people would say, in the world, is Harry Kane. But I think that Chelsea would push harder for Kane if he wasn't a Spurs player and the rivalry between the clubs and all that jazz. That's my take on it. Anyway, that's my views. We're going to start going to your calls now, though. I want to hear from you. We've got lots of people backstage. We've got Yaz and we've got Gerard. We've got ACFC that's going to come on. Remember, I want to hear about your thoughts on these transfers, but massively what I want to hear from you tonight about is this. Who's having the best transfer window? Who's scaring you in the market? Are you panicking about your football club? Get your comments in to discuss that. Smash that like button right now. We're doing the live draw in about half an hour's time. We're going to reveal the winner of the football shirt of their choice. And you can, it can be your club's brand new one, no expense spared. The Football Terrace will pay for it. Your size, delivered to your home, not by me. I will send it by courier. I'm not delivering it. Like, that ain't my job, but you'll get it. If you super chat in at any time in July, over the value of £5, $5, 5 Canadian dollars, you'll go into the prize draw for July, to win a football shirt of your choice. So keep them coming. I think Raiola's main reason City are not in for Haaland. I think Raiola could play a part in that as well. I'm not too sure of Pep's relationship or City's relationship with him. It may not be particularly great. Let's go to our first caller of the day. We're going to go to CFC Matty that's on the line with us now. Thanks for calling in, mate. What do you want to say?
How you doing, Terry? You all right?
Yeah, I'm very, very well. What's on your mind, buddy?
I tell you what, I mean, it's now or never for us, isn't it? As far as Haaland and I think to be honest with you, I mean, it's going to be an approach, it's going to be an inquiry, and then hopefully we'll get a bid arriving. But I mean, like I said to you in the comments, I mean, it'd be interesting to see if they actually accept 130 million anyway, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. What's your take, Matt? Do you think it's going to be enough? And if it isn't, do you think Roman will spend more, a bid more?
I think we with the money we're making from player transfers alone, we should have nearly enough. And I think if Roman puts a little bit of a sweetener on top, that's not, I can't see us, going out of it. My take is whether or not Dortmund will accept and whether or not they will alter their stance. Because at the moment, they were firm with Jadon Sancho last year. They're firm on Haaland this year. And you can see that. But I don't think Dortmund are going to be mugs. I don't think they're going to wait in a lot of ways, if I can reverse it a little bit. And I think they would go for more money, wouldn't you?
Listen, I felt that way all along, mate. I really, really do.
Yeah.
In terms of the other question that we posed tonight, as a rival, I know we've asked you before about you concerned about Chelsea, so we won't go down that road again. Which of the top 6 clubs, including, of course, Leicester and Arsenal, which club has impressed you the most so far this summer with their approach to the market?
I'd have to say the two for me are Arsenal and Man United. I think those two are very, very strong clubs they're building at the moment. I feel as though the Arsenal have attacked really quickly, and I feel as though the Cronkies want to have the fans love them. And I feel as though that they're finally opening their pockets, and hopefully there's a chance for more investment. United is the same. The Glazers have obviously had a lot of abuse, and they need to open their wallets as soon as possible. And that's why you've got Sancho. That's why you're looking to go and get the guy from from Bayern Munich, and quite a few others that you're looking at. As far as the Pogba news, I wouldn't believe it really. I think it's just Raiola probably wanting more money, and possibly Pogba wanting more money. I think I can see Pogba staying for another season and see what happens. But
yeah, I hear you on that, Matt. Hey, listen, great call, mate. Thanks for coming on and giving me your thoughts. Appreciate it a lot, mate. And thank you. Keep your comments coming. I want to know who's having the best transfer window so far. We'll put the poll up in a few moments as well. The poll we did put out was, could this really be Chelsea's last bid for Haaland? 60% of you have voted yes. You think this could be the last bid from Chelsea for Haaland. I want you to phone up and tell me why. Is that because you think it's going to be accepted? Do you think if it gets rejected, they'll not go any higher? I want some clarity and some context to your voting as yes. Next on the show, we're going to go to the devil's advocate that's back with us today. Welcome back, buddy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Terry?
Yeah, I'm very, very well, mate. I cannot complain. What are you here to say, mate?
I was just going to talk about Haaland, actually. If I'm completely honest, I don't really see him moving this summer. Like you said, I think it was a few shows back, maybe a couple of days ago. I just don't see it being feasible. I think Abramovich will sanction a high amount of money for the move, but as you said, I think there's going to be high ramifications for the wage structure at Chelsea, as other players will want, well, not similar wages, but a wage increase on that, and that will affect their finances. And as well as that, I've heard that Barella wanted something like 30 million agents fees on top of that. So that's an extra 30 mil on top of the 130, potentially 150 mil transfer value that is going to be put on Haaland. And to be honest, I feel like he might go next summer when the release clause is set. And to be honest, I'd like to see him come to this club right here, because we've got Jadon Sancho on the right-hand side, and he's his assist king. So you never really know, do you?
You don't ever know. And if he doesn't leave this summer, and listen, I've got a lot of Chelsea fans that watch this channel, I respect them. If Chelsea don't land in this summer, I would be really frustrated as a Chelsea fan, because next summer it becomes a much more difficult task, because, as you say, it's available for £65 million. It's a further year of, fans are all, fingers crossed, fans are going to be back all summer, all season. Money's going to be less tight. You're also going to have a situation next summer. Don't sleep on Real Madrid. Next summer, Mbappe is available for nothing, and Haaland's available for 65 million. So in terms of signing on fees, and transfer fees, you could potentially sign Mbappe and Haaland for a combined 65 million pounds.
That's insane.
For me, on a European level, Chelsea have got to try and stop someone from doing that. And
100%.
If we were in Chelsea's position where all we needed this summer was a top-class striker, I would, with the amount of money we're looking to spend, like once we've landed Sancho and Varane, that's practically the cost of Haaland. If we already had a world-class centre-back and we already had Jadon Sancho and we had that money, I'd be, listen, break the bank, get Haaland, because Haaland
100%.
himself, Haaland could take a team that's only good enough for third without him and make them champions, because he'll score so many goals. They have to get it done, Chelsea. In terms of the transfer window, though, who's really impressed you so far?
Well, I've got to say, I think United have really pulled out the stocks and impressed me, because I'm sure you're aware I'm a massive Glazers out fanatic, and they're kind of hushing me up a little bit at the moment. I mean, obviously Jadon Sancho is a player that we should have got done last year, although they set a price very high, but obviously it was a massive target for us. I think if we do get Varane over the line, which I think we will, I just think there's a potential sort of haggling over 10 to 5 mil or whatever it is, or the structure of the deal as such. And to be honest with you, I noticed you said that CDM isn't a massive position for you, but I would disagree. I think if we play McFred next season, I don't see the need for it if we get Varane, because we can play a much higher line. But I don't particularly trust Solskjaer in his judgment in the fact of playing McFred. And I think that's potentially why Paul Pogba wants to leave, is because we've strengthened everywhere else on the pitch, but we haven't brought in a centre defensive midfielder to allow him to be free in a 4-3-3 system. I've heard I think it was Per Carlson, the Norwegian guy in the interviews with Ollie, saying he wants to switch to a 4-3-3, but I don't really see that being a feasible thing without a specialist DM, because I don't see McTominay or Fred playing that holding midfield role efficiently next season, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they could both do that role from a defensive point of view, in terms of breaking up play, winning the ball back, shielding. It's a distribution in that position.
Exactly.
Fred's distribution when moving forward is good. When he's facing his own goal, he's a disaster waiting to happen. McTominay, he just doesn't have the passing range. He'll give the ball away too much. I think Ruben Neves could be the guy for that. Like when I totally agree. I think sitting in that role, he's not a destroyer, but he doesn't need to be a destroyer. He reads the game so well. He's the kind of
more like a Carrick, isn't he?
He is. He's more like a Carrick. He's more like a Jorginho. Jorginho's passing. Michael Carrick and Jorginho's passing range is proven at the higher level. But I'm intrigued to see what he can do in a better team with better players. You pay, if Pogba stays, you pay Pogba and Bruno either side of him. I think Donny van der Beek will benefit from that a little bit more. Maybe you start to bleed Donny in a bit more. So yeah, I agree with you. I think Man United's window so far has been good. Who have you been shocked by? What team have you expected more from so far this summer, and you're quite surprised to see it so quiet?
To be honest, I'm surprised that at City, to be quite honest with you. I mean, obviously they were champions last year, but they still missed out on their Champions League run, and obviously that was their best chance to do it, because obviously they have this mental block of getting past the quarterfinals. And if I'm honest, I was very nervous because I was cheering Chelsea, and I'm ashamed to say, but I don't want them winning the Champions League. And I thought once they got to the final that they would actually get over that hurdle. And again, I don't see them getting Haaland, Kane and Grealish, because as you say, that's two over £100 million signings, and I think they might get one or the other. To be quite honest with you, I think Kane is probably the more feasible transfer that they will do. But I'm surprised that because they usually have a good scouting network, and they pull out Ferran Torres for 20 million out of the blue, and no one's ever talking about. I'm surprised they haven't done a small signing like that just yet. So yeah, I'm shocked that they haven't done a lot.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't done very much. It depends on what they do. It feels like with Chelsea and City, for me, their approach is the same. We're going for one or two big signings. Rice and Haaland for Chelsea, Jackie Grealish and Kane for City. If they land them, they become number one, number two favourites to win the league. If they if they suddenly miss out, suddenly it feels like they're opening the door to everybody else, because there's no Aguero replacement. There isn't a prolific striker at Chelsea. If they go a bit more expansive by not playing three at the back with the fullbacks, could they be exposed a little bit more? It suddenly opens up a lot more questions and debate around who can and can't win the league. So it's going to be intriguing, no doubt at all. Brother, it's great to have had you back on the show, mate.
Nice to see you too, Terry.
Top man, look after yourself. Thank you very much indeed.
Take care, mate.
Thank you. We've got Ziad, we've got Beko to come on really soon as well. But first, Yash has been waiting for us for a while here. Welcome to the terrace, mate. Who do you support?
I support Chelsea, bro.
Lovely. Give me your give me your thoughts. What do you want to say, my friend?
I don't know. I just think that Chelsea is gonna sign Haaland this season, and I guess Rice too, and maybe get a centre back.
And if you pull that off, is that enough, in your opinion, for you to win the Premier League next year?
Yes, definitely. If we get those three, it's 100% Chelsea next season.
Listen, I hear that completely. And are you so you 100% think you're going to get them? You're not worried? You're relaxed?
It's just like the last season. We were linked with Kai Havertz. It was going on, and then it was like, we are not gonna get him next season. Real Madrid is gonna come in. They're gonna get Kai Havertz because Hazard is not performing over there. There were Bayern Munich who's gonna come in, but Chelsea got him at the last moment. And I think it's going to be the same way with Haaland.
There we go, man. You've had your say. Top, man. Yes, thanks for coming on and giving us your thoughts and your feelings. Really appreciate that, buddy. Thank you. Next on the show, we've got Beko Benson here with us. What you saying, bro?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, mate. Who do you support?
I'm a Chelsea fan.
Chelsea fan. What are you here to say, buddy?
In terms of Haaland, I'm just thinking whether if it would be a good idea to sign him for the following season. So he's got a release clause for next season. If we place, let's say, 20 million above that, sign him for the next season and use Havertz up front for next season.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one around what to do. Where do you think your goals are going to come from if you don't sign Haaland? Who's going to score your goals next season?
Depends if Werner shows up. I still have faith in Werner.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Werner could turn up this year, and if he performs like he did the previous year in the Bundesliga, you might come to the end of the season and not even feel like Haaland is a necessity of a signing to go and get. I suppose it's that question thing with Chelsea fans: your standards are to win the Premier League. That's it. And without someone scoring lots of goals, you can't get to the end of the season with with Jorginho being one of your highest goal scorers and like Tammy sitting on the bench being the next guy, but most of his goals have come in smaller games. Like, you need someone to score those goals, because generally speaking, when a team wins the Premier League, there is a standout player that scored the lion's share of goals and has got good numbers in those areas. So it's going to be intriguing to see what happens there. What's your take on Declan Rice as well? A lot of Chelsea fans really unhappy with the idea of being linked with him. What do you make of it?
To be honest, I don't think he suits our system. If you play for someone like United, I think he would suit them more than he would suit us, in my opinion.
Okay.
we've already got a player like that, like Kante, who does the job. He's box to box, and I don't think he's box to box.
I'm going to put it out to the viewers. Do you agree? Do you agree with a man like Becco here today with what he's got to say? Brother, I appreciate you coming on and having your say, mate, and for showing your face. It's harder to show your face and sit behind an emoji.
Yeah.
Oh, man, thank you very much, my brother. Look after yourself. Thank you very much
No
indeed.
problem.
Do you agree Declan Rice, is he not the right player for West Ham? Or do you think that he would fit in like a hand to glove? Interesting here. Trending right now on social. I've just seen Kunde's name. Alistair Gold talking about Jules Koundé. He says, I'm told that he would be interested in the move to Spurs as long as Real Madrid don't enter the picture. Sevilla have an interest in Davinson Sanchez, which could help any potential move. Listen, Alistair Gold's the man. I told you all that a week ago when it got rejected. It's because there's the possibility. I told you all this. Go start listening to the terrace, bro. If you're new to the terrace right now, just every time you hear about a transfer rumor, tune into the next Terrace show and ask a question. The Varane move is key to Koundé. If Varane comes to Man United and Real Madrid pick Jules Koundé as the replacement instead of Pau Torres, Spurs don't get him. If Real Madrid don't sign Jules Koundé for whatever reason, that'll happen. If they do, if they bring him in, then there's no way he's picking Spurs over Real Madrid. It just isn't happening. But an interesting update on that. Imagine they get Jules Koundé, though, and Romero. Suddenly, that's a centre-back partnership for the future. And that's what I said about the transfer window. Like, my little... If I take Man United out of it, because we haven't landed Varane yet, but we've been impeccable. Arsenal have been doing brilliant business. Their approach this summer from Arsenal has been exemplary, in my opinion. But Tottenham, considering where they were 3 weeks ago, no manager, no new players on the horizon. Romero, I forget the new goalkeeper's name. I'm very sorry, but what I've read about him is he's very good. I don't know, but I've heard he's good. They've signed Brian Hill, who is predicted to be a superstar. They could have Romero and Jules. Suddenly, this Spurs team is starting to look nice, And if they do get £160 million in from Man City, maybe spend some of that on a Danny Ings. Maybe improve that bring in someone like Frank Hesse into that middle. Suddenly, Spurs could be looking dangerous, Spurs could be looking, to quote Michael Jackson, dangerous. Really, really dangerous. But do me a big favor. Nearly 1,700 people tuning in. We should be on 1,000 likes, people. Get this to 1,000 likes before the end of this show. Recap for anyone new tuning in. Chelsea Football Club are poised to make a new £130 million all cash in bid for Haaland. This echoes the news that we brought to you a few weeks ago that a £30 million base transfer fee will be put forward. There isn't any news here from the Football Insider that bonuses or add-ons will be included. They've said £130 million offer straight cash. That will be spread over the length of the player's contract, but it will be a guaranteed cash offer to Borussia Dortmund for the services of Haaland. Of course, Borussia Dortmund are pretty much in line to sign Haaland from PSV. You've got City hot on the pursuit and on the tails of Harry Kane. But the report this afternoon has said that this could be the last bid. This could be the last bid from Chelsea this summer. I want your thoughts and I want your feelings on this right now, ladies and gentlemen. Next caller we're getting on the show is going to be Ziad. Ziad's a Chelsea fan. What you saying, brother?
Afternoon, Terry. How you going?
Yeah, I'm very, very well. What do you make of this brand new breaking news today?
Yeah, finally, we're gonna make this big cash bid because even at the first when we put in the Tammy Abraham or the Hudson-Odoi, I didn't think it was going to happen either way. Clearly, Dortmund wanted Marlon and they've got him now. In terms of do I think this is going to be a last bid, I would have to say no, due to the fact that there's a lot of circumstances that could happen that would push us to bid even more. But at the same time, there are some circumstances that could make us hold back for a season. So what I mean by that is, if Raiola is not going to get that big money this season, he's going to lose a lot of money next season. In terms of the agents' fees are going to go down. There's going to be a cut. Certain agents can only get a certain cut from the deal. So we all know Raiola. He's a great quality businessman. he's not going to want to miss out on that much money. And on his biggest asset or player, let's say, or player he has in terms of selling to clubs, he's not going to miss out on 30-40 million pounds when he can get that this season. And for Dortmund, I think they're in trouble even more now because Roman wants this player, Raiola wants this player. So Raiola could easily go to Dortmund and say, look, sell, just sell. It's 130 million. You might lose out on the money next season. Just sell. And in secret, it's for his own good, really, because he wants to get that extra money that he won't get again. So that's why I feel like there's a positive for Chelsea, because we know Raiola can be a good negotiator and he could persuade Dortmund to sell. And also for Roman Abramovich, he clearly wants his player. We're not selling these players. Like, we've already raised 50-60 million pounds from academy players and one player that hasn't played for years. We're clearly raising money to be able to compete with Dortmund's demands. So that's why I feel like we will push ourselves. I think Raiola will help us push, and it's gonna come to Dortmund will have to sell, because I've said this many times. Do they really want to miss out on this amount of money? Do they really want a Munich?
Oh, you seem to have cut out there, mate. Ziad? He seems to have lost some signal there, but he's making some good points there. And I think, logically speaking, there's nothing Ziad said there that I would say is wrong or off guard. Mohammed here says, Terry, do you think Liverpool will sign a midfielder or attacker? I think they will. I just don't know the caliber, as in status. So you're hearing about the likes of Bowen now. I want to ask Liverpool fans tuning in, is Bowen an underwhelming signing? That's what I need to ask there. Thank you very much for that super chat, my friend. Ziad's back with us now. We'll let him finish off what he was saying.
Sorry about that, Terry. Yeah, I was just saying, I really don't think Dortmund will lose out on this amount of money, because I think next season Lewandowski is getting quite old and he's getting to the end of his career. And we know this Dortmund and Bayern Munich, how they like to do deals. I feel like that will be an easy scoop for Bayern Munich to get one of the best strikers in the world, who is still young, for only a 65 million. Will Haaland agree to go to Bayern Munich? It's a different story, because maybe he prefers a different challenge. But that's just a mindset what I'm seeing at. But even for Chelsea, if we don't sign him this season, I still think we've got a good chance next season. I don't think Real Madrid will get Mbappe and Haaland. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, they might not. They might not. I just think doing it this summer, it costs more, but you mitigate that risk of anybody else. Ziad, listen, great call, mate. Thank you for coming on and having your say. Top man. Pedro Neto here in the comments says, I'm the best left winger at the moment. Let's be honest. You're pretty good, mate. We all were looking forward to getting back from that injury, young man. Yes, we are. Neek Sports is in the house somewhere, because I can see people replying to him. My brother Daniel here, longtime member of the Terrace, says Chelsea only need to win the Club World Cup to win everything there is to win in football. This is very, very true indeed. Just want to give you all a quick update on something as well. We spoke about it yesterday. I'm going to try and do it over the course of this weekend. We're going to do a show. It'll be a transfer show, but the second part of it, we're going to be tiering from, say, 12 to number 1, the greatest legend of the modern day era. So it's going to be players that made their debut, I'm going to say, from 92 onwards. Maybe a little bit, maybe the late 80s onwards. So we're going to throw in the likes of Zidane's, Ronaldinho's, R9's, Ronaldo, Scholes, Messi. Like, we're going to throw in some of the Rooney's, the Lampards, some of the legends of the game. And we're going to tier them from 1 to 12. Some might not even make the top 12. The top 6 is the most important part for the Terrace, because what that's going to mean for Unit 7, which is, of course, where the studio is. You, the viewers, are going to get an opportunity to create some history for us and help us build something. So we'll keep you abreast of that. If you're new to the Terrace, make sure you're subscribing, you turn on bell notifications. That stream is coming very, very soon. If you've never seen or been involved in any of our tiering shows, we have it's funny, I've seen a lot of people come to YouTube recently. Oh, we're going to start doing tiering shows. Listen, man, we're pioneers in that. Like, in terms of live tiering shows, that is. So keep yourselves out there. Thanks, Terry. I'm a big fan. Big fan of you as well, Pedro Neto. Dortmund gets Merlin, Raiola making moves from India. Big up yourself, Yash, all the way in India. And yeah, look, Malin's also. I actually didn't realize until today he's actually a Raiola player as well, which I thought was very, very interesting indeed. We've got David to come very, very soon on the show. But before David, we're going to go to Leaf. Leaf is here with us now. What are you saying, Leaf?
Hi, yeah, I just wanted to speak about. Can you hear me? Yeah, I wanted to speak about Haaland and Koundé quickly. I mean, yeah, Koundé. I mean, we all knew he didn't say. He said no, but he said no because he wanted to wait for bigger clubs like Real Madrid. You never know; they could definitely go for him. However, I would say that because Sevilla, they have a huge buy-on clause from when Koundé was at Bordeaux. So they have like a 10%, 15%. So they want to make the transfer fee as small as possible, which is where Davinson Sanchez comes into all of this. So that would make the fee less, and they would have to pay less to Bordeaux. So you never know. But apparently Real Madrid don't want to go for him because of what we did. We paid them 25 million for Brian Hill, and so they don't need they don't need immediate cash. So they are making the price higher, if that makes sense. So we don't know.
Yeah, of course it makes sense. And you know, if you don't need money, it's harder to. You're in a better position negotiation wise. It makes sense. I want to ask you a question actually, rather than sort of the Haaland stuff. When you look at the Premier League top 6+1, who are the teams that you think are having very good summers so far, and who are the teams that you think have really got to pull their fingers out?
So Arsenal are having a very good transfer window. They're getting signings very quickly, and they're not even reaching their top priorities. So that shows that they're gonna get more players. So that's good for them. Man United, I mean, unbelievable window. If you guys get Varane and Sancho, like you have no idea how Varane and Maguire. It's like one of the best partnerships in the world for defense. So it's unbelievable. Same with the attack. Chelsea and Man City, the thing is their squads are really good. So it's like, are they selling their best players? No. So I mean, I do think that Chelsea and City, it will be a kind of a failure if they don't get their top striker targets. But they're still very good.
Yeah, no, mate, I hear you on that, and I totally get where you're coming from 100%. Listen, great call, mate.
And one thing I wanted to say on people that are saying Malen is a Haaland replacement, he's not. The manager of Dortmund is Marco Rose, who plays all the time with two strikers, with one being a center target like Haaland, and the other being a very pacey inside forward, which is exactly who Malen is. So he's not a direct replacement for Haaland.
Fair enough, Lee. Thank you for that education, bro. Appreciate it. Top man. I mean it. Thank you very much. Top man. And that's why we have callers. That's why we speak to others. I don't know everything about football. You don't know everything about football, but collectively we know quite a lot, right? So you listen to other people, what they've got to say and all that jazz. Keep hitting that like and share button, people. Remember, we've got the prize draw to see who, all the names are in here to see who wins the football shirt for June Super Chatters. David's with me now. How's it going, brother? Oh, I can't hear you. And you're not on mute either. That's weird.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Lovely. How's things, mate? How's things?
No, things are good. I'm just, just working on stuff for next year for uni and stuff. So, yeah.
Nice. What do you make of this story that's come out from the Football Insider today? The 130 million, with what we've always said would be the base bid, is poised to go in, is being, be given the green light and is ready to go. What do you make of it? And do you think it will be the last bid if it gets rejected?
I mean, the fact they're putting 130 million down in the first place to me shows that I'm reasonably confident the deal's going to be done, because the difference between, you're now getting to the stage where it's like, if you do put 130 down, what really is the difference between 130 and 150? It's like, if it was 100, I'd be more worried because it's a 50 mil difference. But that 20 mil can definitely be made up in other ways. So I'm quite happy about it if they do actually put it forward. Will it be accepted? Probably not. But at least it's like our foot's in the door. We're really serious about doing the transfer. And if we're that serious about doing the transfer, then, I mean, it wouldn't be a shock if Abramovich pulled it off. So yeah.
No, I hear you on that, mate. And it's an interesting one. There've been a few comments from people in recent days say they've dropped the accept price. You know, they were saying it was 150. There's a few people that have said whether it's slip of the tongues, and then I've heard it from a few more around 135. So maybe they're thinking that they can get it done. They've put some lower bids in, and it hasn't happened. You know, maybe the news is starting to come through now that City are going to pick up the pace for Kane. All these things can be little triggers, I think, to say to people what we're going to do next. In terms of the transfer window, though, we're asking everyone tonight, like, who have you been impressed with? Who do you think's had a poor start to the transfer window based on what they need? You know, for instance, I don't think necessarily thinks Chelsea's is bad because you need one player. So it's one thing where
it's relative. It's relative.
Yeah, where Arsenal need 5 or 6. You know, then they've got a few. Who do you think's having a good, and who do you think's having a bit of a slow start and a bit of a poor start to their summer window?
I think Arsenal's is kind of being overrated. I'm not gonna lie. I just think they're making right now, from what the signings they've made, I'm not too impressed by it. When Ben White is good, but I don't think he's good worth for 50 mil. Maddison, if you pay, I think again Maddison's really good, but if you pay 70 mil for Maddison, I don't think it's worth it. But is it the signings they need to be where they want to be? Probably not. I still think there are six or seven teams better than them. I still think those signings are good, but I think they need a lot more to get to where they actually want to be. Obviously, Man United. So I think Man United is probably the best right now because those two players, if they do come in a class, if you go look further down the league, Everton, they've signed Andros Townsend and Damari Gray outfield, which is, again, they're not great, but like Everton are weird because they just finish in the same place no matter what they do. Everton could literally have Messi in the team and they'll still finish 9th. So it's kind of hard to place them. And obviously you don't know what Rafa's going to do. But for me, Brentford, I'm a big Brentford fan because they not a fan, but I'm a fan of what they do because they're very statistically based in what they do. And they've made 3 or 4 signings. No, I've never heard of the players. So I don't know how good they are, but I trust in the fact that from what their scouting does, I trust in what they're doing. And I genuinely think they have actually a very good chance of staying up because we saw last year, especially when they play teams like Newcastle and Tottenham, they don't play bad football. They play reasonably good football. It's just about getting the right players in there. So when they get the chances, they finish off the chances. And I think they're on a really good path on getting there. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, and I hear you on that. I think I'm the other way. I think Arsenal's has been a lot better than people are giving it credit for, based on the fact that I remember at the start of the summer, just before the start of the window, there was all this sort of talk of, no, we've got to go and sign a Jack Grealish. We've got to lay down a mark. And I thought, well, even if you've got a 150, 200 budget, don't spend half of it on one player outright and still have all these holes. I think what I love about their approach is a double-edged sword. They've got the Sakas and Smith Rose through the academy. Of course, Martinelli's there. But with these Lokongas and the like, these are lads that are tipped to be stars. If they get better and better, but Arsenal don't, at least they can make a profit on them. There's great sell-on value with them as an example. But what they really need to do, Arsenal, do you know how they've thrown big money contracts at Williams and Aubameyangs and Ozils when they've been past their best? That's what they've got to do. If Lokonga over the next 2 years turns into one of the best midfielders in the league, it's him you need to pay £300,000 a week to keep him and to raise his valuation. Does that make sense? It's that's where they need to do their business in the right way. It's okay, we've got a striker that's 32 and he's scoring 30 goals a season. You don't give him a bumper new 3-year deal. You give it to, if Saka goes on to a next level next year and the year after, it's him you give that deal to. So that even if he does want to leave, you get 200 million quid for him, not letting him run down his deal and letting him leave on a pittance. So it's going to be interesting to see how they build on this, but I think they've been pretty good. Liverpool's the one for me, though. I know I follow a lot of Liverpool fans, like Grizz Khan. I got a lot of time and respect for him. He tweets like he's very relaxed. I don't know in my heart of hearts if he really is. What I love about Grizz is that even if he was feeling he's like a swan or a duck, on top of the water. He just always looks smooth no matter what's going on beneath the surface. But their window would concern me right now if I was a Liverpool fan. I know they've done it before where they've bought not Bowen level play. They both bought players because when like Mane was purchased, nobody thought he'd be as good for Liverpool as he has been. I think that's a fair thing to say. But I don't know if the money ball approach can continue to work.
Yeah.
Well,
I've said the same thing about Liverpool because, like, again, the whole Moneyball thing's interesting because I don't think it really was Moneyball because Moneyball's about, like, you're basically really, like, you are Brentford and you're just picking up these really, like, low-tier guys that no one's heard of. Like, people knew about these players. It's just that, obviously, when you play in a better team, as we talked about with Nevers the other day, you play in a better team, you'll become a better player because there's more quality around you. So, add more quality to your squad will get better. But for me, I just think I'm worried, as I've said before, I think they've hit the ceiling and their ceiling was only going to last for 2 seasons. Unfortunately for them, one of those seasons, Man City were also at their peak, so they didn't win anything. And I think they're going to have a really hard time rejigging the squad because more than anything, the fans aren't going to be happy. Klopp could literally be there like, I think Henderson needs to be replaced, for example. And they could get a Henderson replacement. But if they drop Henderson, everyone's going to be absolutely fuming about it. And Liverpool know that as well. And they can't, and like the PR at Liverpool, they know it has to be quite positive. So I don't think Liverpool are going to drop significantly. I just don't think they're going to be like challenging for long enough. They'll probably challenge to like February and then just like drop off.
Yeah, I hear you. I think the Moneyball thing, again, the reason why it doesn't make sense for it to work, I'm not saying it didn't work first time round even. I haven't deeped it that much. But if I'm West Ham and you want Bowen and your fan base in the world boasts about your ability to find a world-class player out of nothing, almost, I don't know if you've seen the original Karate Kid films, but Mr. Miyagi used to be able to pick up trees that weren't bonsai trees and he could clip and train them and turn them into bonsai trees. And he was like, he used to say, there's a bonsai tree in every tree. And he used to say, the analogy was, he used to say about the Daniel Son's karate. He was like, your best karate is still in Find You. You just need to find it and bring it out. A warped analogy. But the point I'm making is, if Bowen's this world-class player that they see beneath, West Ham should stick a world-class price tag on him because clearly you're doing it for Moneyball reasons, right? It's harder for Liverpool it's going to be harder for them to keep signing players because their secrets are being released. It's almost like I would rather say we fluked it, right? So people didn't think it was a methodology. So I don't know. For me, if I'm West Ham and Liverpool want Bowen, I'm sticking 60, 70 million pounds.
Yeah, it's the thing of like, if Leipzig come in for your player, you probably shouldn't sell them because Leipzig have this thing where it's like they'll turn your player into something ridiculous. So if they're looking at your player, you probably shouldn't sell them. But if Liverpool come in for one of my players, I'd be there like, well, everyone tells me, Michael, that Klopp turns all these players into world-class players. So if you're going to guarantee world-class, why would I not sell you that at that price? Because I now know what you can do with this person, allegedly. So
I couldn't agree more. We're going to add Grey Wolf Dinner to the call. We are going to do the prize draw to see who wins a football shirt very, very soon. So make sure you stay with us. Let me just change this background so I can bring in another caller here. Grey Wolf Dinner is here. Oh, there he is. What are you here to say, mate?
Before I said I didn't think we'd get Haaland, but I've changed my mind now. I think there's a really good chance we're going to get him. Really good.
What's changed your mind? What's changed your mind?
Well,
hello? I'm not too sure what's going on with your connection there, bro. Try calling this back, brother. I'm not too sure what happened. Can you hear me all right, David?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it was bugging out a bit there. I'm not too sure as to why, but there we go. We're gonna do the prize draw now. See what comes out. We're gonna do that. We're gonna get that done and dust. Actually, we did that in a few short moments. I want to do a few comments that have come through first and foremost. So some of the comments are making me laugh. Haaland 9 on the back of that shirt. I want to ask you a question, right? Jadon Sancho. Can you understand why some Man United fans are crying? Like I saw speech from Man United fans saying it's just shambles that he's not got the number 7 shirt. Like, like some people, it's like, it's like, you arrange a wicked party. Everything is perfect. But you know what? Like the white covers over your seats are just not quite the right shade of white, and that's it. The whole party's ruined now. It's like, Jesus Christ.
It's like, do you really want to put all that pressure in season one? Let him adjust, even if it, he could come in and bang straight away. If he goes in bang straight away, fine, give him the 7th shirt next year. It's not like the 7th shirt's going anywhere. They're not giving it to Dan James, okay? Relax. It's really not that deep. Like, it's not going anywhere. So it will come eventually. It will come eventually.
I completely agree, mate. I completely agree. It makes me die. So we're going to do the prize draw now, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get this done and we're going to pick out. Remember, this is everyone who's super chatted over the value of £5, $5, 5 Canadian dollars last month. We're running that same competition as well. So we're going to mix this around. We're going to pick one out of here. I've actually just flicked about 3 out. So pick one out here. Who's this going to be? Who is this going to be? Bang it. Listen, the winner of this month's prize draw is none other. Hopefully it will focus. Is it going to focus in here? My terrible writing. Is it going to focus? Why is it not focused yet? Come on, focus. It's Maria Williams. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Maria Williams. That's a madness, bro. That's a madness. That's an absolute madness. There we go. Maria Williams has picked that up. Well done to you. In fairness, she did a lot of super chats last month. Her name was in the hat about a lot of times because she did the big 250 the 250 donation as well. So like I had to cup her name bare times, her and Nick. In my head, I was like, her and Nick have got a great chance today because Nick did loads last month along with a few others. So well done. And thank you to Maria Williams there for picking that up. It made me laugh. But I say the reason it made me laugh is because I just thought to myself, like, there were so many names in. I'm like, she might win. And there we go. But listen, well done to Maria Williams. I'll send you a DM and we'll get that sent out. So I'm actually quite chuffed. She's been a long time viewer of the Football Terrace. Man like there, giving his well done, Maria. Maria there, very, very happy indeed. Hip 100% rigged. Yeah, okay, mate. Like the month before, it was like D1 and Ginger Fury that are fairly new to the channel on Super Chatters, but there we go. Who else is in here? What we all saying here? Wi-Fi messed up. Yes, no worries, bro. No worries, bro. So congratulations to Maria Williams for getting and winning that. So well done. Respect, Maria. It's not really. Listen, we all know it's not bloody rigged. You know what I mean? I'm just picking a name out of a bloody hat. No way. Yeah, Grey Wolf Dinner. I heard that your Wi-Fi messed up, bro. I've actually sat there today doing the names as long. So I've already started it for July. So at the end of July, we'll be able to get it done really quick and really easy as well within a few days. So a massive thank you to sort of everybody that's tuned in to us today. Really appreciate that. Yes, there is one next month. We're doing it in July. We'll probably run it again as we start in August as well. And by the end of August, start to think of something. We've got some new things in the pipeline. We're just waiting for some of our sort of commercial partners to come through. We want to get some really good prizes in for you all, just to give back and reward people. You can super chat anywhere, but you choose to super chat with the Football Terrace. You can choose to donate anywhere, but you choose to be members and donate to the Football Terrace. So my view is to give back. I showed KJ yesterday the scarves that we're having made for you. Real good quality scarves for our first team members and our legends. The seating that we're going to be getting into the studio for our legends and super fans. What I saw today, I'm not even going to reveal what the seating's going to look like, but it looks wicked, bruv. Like, it's just like, it's football related. It's cool. So, and that's going to be for our legends and our super fans to come in. We've got the legends and members wall being created. So all our super fans and legends, like their photos or their usernames and pictures are going to go up on the wall there. We really want to pay homage to you. I don't think, again, I always do these things and other channels copy, but channels don't respect their subscribers, their members, their super chatters enough. Some barely even mention them. They very rarely let them phone up. They never make them front and center of their shows. And I think that's really dishonorable in many ways. There's no doubt about it at all. Until next time, everybody, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all.